Convening the meeting of the House Investigative Committee to investigate compliance with audit numbers 19-12 and 21-01. Today is Friday, August 13th, 2021, for the 9:00 a.m. meeting. Members, on our agenda, we have 2 items, but I'd like to just take care of some housekeeping business. First, I do want to introduce and let you know that I have provided links to participate in our meetings, our publicly noticed meetings, council, the deputy AGs of the various agencies. So that invitation was extended to Department of Agriculture, Agribusiness Development Corporation, and the Department of Land and Natural Resources, as well as the Auditor's Office. So on this Zoom meeting, you may see attorneys from those agencies. Secondly, as we proceed into our discussion, I do want to thank all of the members who participated in helping put together the second set of document requests for all of the agencies. So let's just jump right into it, taking up the first subpoena for the Department of Agriculture. Members, I did email you draft copies of this, and I'll briefly summarize what this subpoena is going to be requesting, and then make a motion to approve these subpoenas so that we can issue them today. So with the first set for the Department of Agriculture, this is a much skinnier request than the others. It really focuses on the policies and procedures of the board to approve projects, plans, and facility programs of the ADC pursuant to HRS 163D-8.5. This also includes a list, and not the copies of the research or marketing reports that the Board of Agriculture may have produced, published, and or commissioned, as the responsibilities of marketing and research was an issue in the audit, and which department and which agency is most appropriate to do those types of research reports. Finally, there are 2 provisions that are kind of catch-all requests. Anything that the Department of Agriculture may have essentially done since the publication of the audit in response to some of the findings of the audit. So members, that's the subject of the documents we're requesting from the Department of Agriculture. Pursuant to our rules, I'm requesting that they provide this documentation to us via email, to my office via email on Monday, August 30th by 4:30 p.m. So happy to entertain any questions or discussion about this. All right, seeing none, my recommendation to the members is to approve this subpoena with any tech amendments that I need to, I or HMSO need to do to finalize this subpoena, but essentially the content of this is in front of you. Members, any questions? Vice Chair, if you could take the vote.
Members are voting on the recommendation to issue the subpoena as discussed to the Department of Agriculture. Chair, Vice Chair vote aye. Rep Hashem? Rep Hashem, you're muted.
Aye.
Thank you. Rep Kobayashi is excused. Rep Peruso?
Aye.
Rep Tarnas?
Aye.
Rep Yamashita?
Aye.
And Rep Okimoto?
Aye.
Chair, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Okay, members, we are going to take up the draft document for the second subpoena to the Agribusiness Development Corporation. And rather than go point by point through this document, members, I will just basically summarize the broad categories in which we're requesting documents from ADC. There are a series of document request, members, related to essentially the mission statement, bylaws, goals, objectives, minutes, so sort of the planning, the corporate documents of the ADC. there's a series of documents related to the Hawaii Agribusiness Plan and any of the planning responsibilities that ADC has. There is a third category regarding policies and procedures that ADC has adopted related to approval of agricultural projects, plans, facility programs, oversight by the board of directors, over the executive director, and any policies and procedures over land management processes. There is another category, members, of documentation related to staffing needs, a workload analysis for the ADC. A fourth category concerning the filing systems, electronic document management data systems of the ADC. And then a fifth section related to land and asset improvement and water systems inventories of the ADC that they have responsibility over. And finally, a section on a catch-all request for anything that the ADC would like to provide to us. And members, this request reflects requests from specific members, as well as requests based upon reading and analysis of the findings and recommendations of the auditor. So it's pretty extensive. Let me tell you what is not in this subpoena, because I did parse out a number of things. Essentially, documents related to research and market studies, as well as documents related to the procurement code. We have indication from the agency, ADC, that the documents that we are looking are pretty extensive. So I wanted to save that for a third set of subpoenas if we need it at some later point. But really the categories I described go to the heart of the audit and the concerns of this committee. So I did want to alert you to that. In terms of timing for this production of documents, members, because we've had indication that there will be some challenges with putting some of these documents together, I'm going to put a deadline of Tuesday, September 7th. Tuesday, September 7th, for these documents to be produced to my office via email by 4:30 p.m. So that does provide essentially an additional week in comparison to the Department of Agriculture. Members, any questions or discussion? All right, seeing none, my recommendation is to approve this second subpoena for ADC with any tech amendments that my office or HMSO should find in the finalizing of the subpoena to be delivered to the agencies today. Vice Chair, for the vote.
Members voting on Chair's recommendation to issue the subpoena to the Agribusiness Development Corporation, noting Representative Dale Kobayashi excused. Are there any members with reservations? Any noes? Seeing none, Chair, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Okay, members, our third subpoena is the second subpoena to Dlnr. And again, this reflects suggestions by members of this committee. And to summarize these documents, there are some there's a request for training materials provided to the land board members used and or developed by Dlnr from 2011 to present. I'm going to, sorry, I apologize. I'm going to modify this to make sure that these are training materials provided to land board members related to their responsibilities to SLDF. That's a little bit too broad as it is in front of you. A second category of documents being requested relates to the staffing and workload of the of the land division. There is a third category of summaries of the lease extension applications that have been received by the land division from 2011 to present. A fourth category related to policies and procedures that have been changed in response to the audit. In response to the audit's findings and recommendations. And then finally, members, there is a category of a catch-all category for any other documents or information regarding the audit process, audit recommendations, audit responses, essentially any other documents DLNR would like to provide to the committee as related to the audit. Chair Tarnas, may I ask, because you have been essential in helping me draft this, have I missed anything in terms of the categories of the documents we have in this proposed second subpoena? My apologies, members, I'm trying to quickly read and summarize.
We also included see, you covered that about the market and management of DLNR properties. Any documents, reports, recommendations developed by DLNR related to marketing and management of the DLNR properties, and consider the utilization of private sector brokers and property managers. I think you also included, but I want to make sure, timelines, funding, scope of any current or intended contracts from land division with consultants to evaluate the land inventory and reevaluate certain RPs, developing a strategic and asset management plans. So those are some of the things that we've included in there. I just wanted to make sure people understood. Thank you.
Yes, no, thank you, Chair. So those categories are also in this second subpoena for DLNR. And I do want to mention that there is another request relating to any policies, memoranda, documents on how from DBET, from the Department of Budget and Finance, on how revenues from ceded lands are to be remitted to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and spent by DLNR and or transferred to other special funds and or the state general funds. There was a section discussed in the audit concerning the movement of funds. So that category is also in there.
Yes, thank you very much for pointing that out as well. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
I do believe we have it all, members. So any questions or concerns or discussion about this second set of documents to be requested from DLNR? Members, in terms of when this will be turned over to me and then to our respective staff, in discussions with attorneys for DLNR, they have said that they believe that they can accomplish turning over this discovery to us by August 30th. So like the Department of Agriculture subpoena, the time will be for production to my office via email on Monday, August 30th by 4:30 p.m. Okay, members, so my recommendation is to approve this second subpoena for the subpoena ducis tecum for DLNR with my office and HMSO to make any tech amendments as we finalize this subpoena before issuance to the department today. Vice Chair?
Members, Chair's recommendation is to issue the subpoena to Department of Land and Natural Resources. Noting the excused absence of Rep. Koyashi, any reservations? Any no's? Seeing none, Chair, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Second thing on our agenda, members, is the continuing scheduling of appearance of witnesses before the committee. Members, I apologize. There is so many moving pieces. We continue to look at the week of September 13th and September 20th for appearance of witnesses before this committee. So at our next meeting, I hope to have more information and a firmer schedule. We are coordinating between multiple travel schedules, committee work of other committees of the House, and so it has been challenging, as well as working with the changing circumstances of the pandemic. So members, at our next meeting, I hope to have more information. Some closing housekeeping issues. Members, at this point, we are just waiting on documents to come into the committee. I did receive documents from ADC and Dlnr. I've been working with Chief Clerk and the House IT staff, so we will have access to those documents to you and designated staff. Members, I want to remind you that the documents of the committee are considered confidential pursuant to our rules. So this is a reminder that this is work materials for us to be able to conduct our business. So access to these documents should only be to committee members and designated staff members assisting with this investigation. I believe that's all I have in terms of housekeeping and announcements. I do want to acknowledge that we do have Melissa Goldman, Deputy AG, I believe, from Dlnr. Melissa, are you with the Dlnr? If you could just.
Yes, Chair.
Okay, I did want to introduce you folks to Melissa. So she's assisting Dlnr.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Melissa. Any other questions? Comments before we close, members? All right, thank you. We will be posting the next notice of the meeting, but I don't expect it for several weeks at this point in time. All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.